Hard me hearties, accused of having favorites at work and feeling bad about that, having others say, oh, you've got favorites and that's a bad thing. Actually, having favorites may be a great thing depending on who your favorites are and why you have them. I want to start with the 30, 50, 20 rule. The 30, 50, 20 rule is 30% of your people. This is a old rule that I'll show you is confirmed by Gallup poll later on. 30% will say yes, 50% of your people will say maybe, and 20% will say no. Sometimes leaders at work get discouraged because 20%, 2 out of 10, are always talking about how bad the leadership is or whatever. Actually, that's normal. If you've got two, you're doing pretty good. And the one that we neglect, though, is the 30. So let's just keep this in mind. 30 are the ones that say yes. The 50 are, I'll put a question mark, and the 20, they're the ones that say no. 30, 50, 20 rule. The Gallup poll for 2015, let's see, do I have, yeah, I've got those statistics sitting over here. They did a study of thousands of workers in America, in the United States. I think they went worldwide once too, and it came up pretty close to this. Here's what they came up with. 30, 50, 20, they came up with 32 are engaged. Then they had 51%, this is 2015, are disengaged. And then 17% are actively disengaged. That means they work at work against the leadership. Disengaged. I got to figure out how to spell this here. All right. So there it is. There's Gallup poll. 32% are engaged. That means they like to go to work. They like to show up. They're part of the mission and vision. They are engaged with what's going on, and work's important to them. And they're there for more than just a paycheck. 51% on average. Look at this. This rule, 30, 50, 20, was around a long time before the Gallup polls ever showed up. 51% are disengaged. That means, well, they show up, they'll do their work, they'll be sure they keep all the, more or less, they'll keep the job description. Well, and they'll say, well, that's not my job, and and no more. That's it. They're engaged. That's nice. Or I mean, sorry, they're disengaged. They're called disengaged. They're the ones I think of in the middle here. And then the last group, there's your 20% Gallup poll, pretty close. 17% actively disengaged, actually fighting. They're sort of the anti-leadership of the organization, and you might offer to promote them to be a supervisor or something, and they will decline. Why? Because they want authority without responsibility. So these guys over here, they like to get authority and use it, but never have to be accountable for it. So if you're a supervisor watching this, congratulations. Thank you for agreeing to be the supervisor, because you're more accountable. And be aware that there's those that are unwilling to do that. Somebody called the 20%, they called them the roses. I'll just draw my little rose here. They called the ones in the middle the daisies. And they called, so there's my little daisies. And they called the ones over here, well, I'll just call them the dandelions, which we know what kind of plant a dandelion is when they're in our yard or something. So we've got the roses, and the guy that came up with this, he said your roses, and I did it backwards. Let's see, your roses. Oh, here, I've got it over here. So I drew it ahead of time. So your roses there's 30%. So three out of 10 people. Just think, do you have 3 people that are just easy to work with, self-contained? You may not even have to spray them for aphids. They're engaged. They are part of what's going on. Let's see, we'll get this thing folded out of here, my reversed drawing there. So yeah, they're engaged, the roses. You don't have to think about it. That's the danger, though, by the way. The roses are so self-taken care of, we neglect them. supervisors and leaders actually just figure, oh, you're all taken care of, you're fine. So we don't spend time with them, we don't invest in them. They're the keys to our growth. But let's go to the daisies. They're the ones in the middle. They're nice, but they'll go wherever whatever's going on, they'll go that way. Here's our dandelions over here. Those are sort of weed pictures, I guess. I drew weeds there down there in that one. There's my weeds. They're the ones, they're the actively disengaged, okay? So we neglect the roses, and a lot of times what management will do or supervisors will do is we'll spend all our time on the hurting tooth. And the ones that, you know what, we say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So we spend a lot of time with our dandelions rather than spending time with our roses. Now let's see if I can, yeah, this drawing's okay. So now one last thing on this. Here's where your favorites come in. If here's you, the manager. There you see, that's you right there. You're the manager. If you go this direction, guess which way your daisies will go. If you go this way and spend time with your roses, your daisies will come with you too. So you'll end up with 30 and 50. You'll end up with 80%. People will go with you. Your 20%, they'll just have to figure it out or go away or whatever. But you're going places because you got 80% of people with you. The other one, though, let's do an unhappy face here. This is the manager. Oops, this is the manager goes this way. Sorry, I don't have a drawing board here. The manager goes this way, puts their energy into the dandelions. Their daisies will go that way. You'll end up with 70% fighting you because the daisies will feel badly that you're picking on those poor weeds. The weeds will con the daisies to say how bad you are as a supervisor. It's a pretty interesting deal. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is favorites. Some people will avoid working with the roses because, oh, I don't want to have favorites. Your favorites, here's the lesson. Your favorites are the people, and this is your roses, who are into your mission and vision. If you got a mission and vision, and people say, well, you've got favorites, say, yes, my favorites are the ones who are into the mission and vision. Would you like to be my favorite? You get a weed or a daisy saying, well, you've got favorites. It's the dandelions and the weeds that'll say that. You say back, well, you could be one of my favorites. Would you like to be? Don't you remember the mission and vision we did? Are you in on that? Well, I don't know. You've got favorites. Your favorites are the folks that are moving with your mission and vision. Have one of those and you'll be okay. You can manage to that. This is John Parker with Sea Legs for Success saying ARG.